remember that was last week. Yay! We remember at least. But it kind of ties into this week. One of the interesting things, one of the greatest things about the Bible is that it's a living document. Every person that picks it up is going to see something different. It's going to say something different to you than it says to me. We're going to read it from our place. We're going to see what we see. And it doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean I'm wrong. It just means we're getting what we need to get from it. One of the things we forget when we're reading it is that it was written for people that lived thousands of years ago. So even though we read it and see it differently, well, they got those things and they really saw it differently. Because they were living in a different time, a different place. They were Jewish communities. Jesus was Jewish. How many people know Jesus was Jewish? A lot of people forget that. Jesus was Jewish. So a lot of times the stories that we get in the Gospels, they were written as Jewish people, speaking to Jewish people, trying to figure out what Jesus' arrival meant and how it changed things, if it changed things, and what do we do about it? So here we are, 2017, looking at stuff they were getting a long time ago and trying to figure out how it fits us too. And it's okay that we all come at it and see it differently. It's okay that we pick it up and it speaks to us, because the greatest part is it's speaking. As long as it's speaking, yay. So today is going to be no different. We're going to pick it up, we're going to look at it, and we're going to read it 2017. But, we ain't them. So today we're reading Matthew 25, 1 through 13. This is the parable of the 10 virgins, or 10 bridesmaids, depending on what version of the Bible you're using. How many know the story? Oh, wow, 3 people. Okay, good. So let's read it. God's kingdom is like 10 young virgins who took oil lamps and went out to greet the bridegroom. 5 were silly and 5 were smart. The silly virgins took lamps but no extra oil. The smart virgins took jars of oil to feed their lamps. The bridegroom didn't show up when they expected him, and they all fell asleep. In the middle of the night, someone yelled out, "He's here! The bridegroom's here! Go greet him!" The 10 virgins got up and got their lamps ready. The silly virgins said to the smart ones, "Our lamps are going out. Lend us some of your oil." They answered, "There might not be enough to go around. Go buy your own." They did, but while they were out buying oil, the bridegroom arrived. When everyone was there to greet him had gone into the wedding feast, the door was locked. Much later, the other virgins, the silly ones, showed up and knocked on the door, saying, "We're here, let us in." But the bridegroom answered, "Do I know you? I don't think I know you. So stay alert. You have no idea when he might arrive." Okay, so how many heard it and felt like it was about staying awake, being ready, being alert? Anybody? Okay. How many thought it was about being prepared? A couple of people. Okay, so I grew up hearing it preached as, you can't go to sleep. You might miss something. I was always like, well, what am I going to miss? And then the Pentecostal preacher would say, the second coming of Jesus. I was always kind of a smart aleck. Imagine your surprise. And so when the preacher was like, all coming at everybody, and you need to stay awake, and you need to be ready, because Jesus is going to come back, and you're going to miss it because you're sleeping. I looked at my granny and I said, it's been a long time. If he ain't come back already, are we sure he coming? Thousands of years removed from the original story, right? And that's what parables are. They're stories. They're not literal. They're metaphorical. And they were used to teach things. So my preacher that would preach that we all had to stay awake because we might miss something, it said they all went to sleep, didn't it? Mm-hmm. So then maybe it's not about that. Some of you said you thought maybe it was about being prepared. But they all were prepared. They all had their lamp with the oil in it. And they all went to meet the bridegroom. He was supposed to be there at 10, so they showed up ready. And then he didn't come, and he didn't come, and he didn't come. So they were prepared. But then, so maybe it's not really about being prepared either. So what is it about? Remember how I said we always forget sometimes that this was written for a Jewish community trying to figure out what all these teachings Jesus was throwing out meant to them? In the Jewish tradition, all means good deeds, righteousness. So if you reread it, and instead of all, you're thinking good deeds, does it change things? Yeah, it changes things. 5 of them went out and were ready. They did the work they were supposed to do, and they did extra work while they were waiting. They had the extra oil. The other group did their work, but then when it didn't go exactly the way they thought it should go, that's it. We're out of good deeds. Now what do we do? So maybe what this is really about is faith. Maybe it's about the faith to keep working and keep doing what we're supposed to do while we're waiting. Maybe that's what it's about. Maybe what we're supposed to do is show up, sometimes show out, while we try to figure out how this all works. Because here's the thing. You're in 2017. It's been a long time since that was written. It's been a long time since Jesus walked the earth. Everybody has opinions. Everybody has their own interpretations. But do you stop there? Because if you stop there, maybe that's what this is about. You're missing it. You're not supposed to stop. You're supposed to keep going. You're supposed to keep doing. 5 were wise. Because why? Because they kept working. They were putting their faith into action. Last week we talked about the woman with the alabaster jar. Remember? And Jesus told her, your faith has saved you. Her faith in action was going there, washing his feet, drying his feet, anointing him with the perfume from the jar. Her faith was put into action. How is your faith put into action? What does it look like? What do you do? Is it helping a friend move? Is it feeding the hungry? Is it being patient and sitting there with someone while they try to sort out what they think about things? Yes, yes, and yes is the answer. But what happens when you're waiting on Holy to show up? You're waiting on Holy to reveal themselves. You're waiting to figure out what it all means to you. And it feels like it's not happening as fast as it should be happening. Do you just stop? Do you just quit? Or do you keep showing up? See, me and Kay were talking before church. And we were talking about what's going on in the world. How come sometimes you'll see people that they'll show up all the time, ready to work, ready to do whatever you need them to do. But then there are other people who on social media will talk about showing up and doing the stuff. But then when it's time, they're not there. Me and Kay were talking about it. Kay said, well, it comes down to, I'm pointing to you so you can say your word. Commitment. Comes to commitment. To put your faith into action and to keep doing what you're supposed to do, to keep doing the good deeds, to keep doing the work that you're called to do, takes commitment. It takes a holy fire. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. The band gets up here and they play music and the band gets happy. You can tell when Kay gets happy. You can tell when Holy is beginning to move on Kay because Kay will speed my songs up. Because Holy done sat down on Kay's shoulders and Kay's like, You can tell when Holy is with Lavette because Lavette starts doing this. You can tell when Holy comes and sits with the keyboard because we're going to repeat repeat, repeat. I'm going to sing and sing and sing until Holy says, okay, I'm good, thank you. These things take commitment. It takes commitment for you to get up and be here every Sunday. You all have lives. You all have other things you could be doing. She's shaking her head no. You ain't got, okay, cool. So we ain't never got to worry about you missing church. But it takes commitment. It takes dedication. So what are these good deeds that they were supposed to be about? So there's a scripture for that. Imagine your surprise. James chapter 3, verse 17. Because remember, 5 were wise. So what is this wisdom? Real wisdom, God's wisdom, begins with a holy life and is characterized by getting along with others. It is gentle and reasonable, overflowing with mercy and blessings, not hot one day and cold the next, not two-faced. You can develop a healthy, robust community that lives right with God and enjoy its results only if you do the hard work of getting along with each other and treating each other with dignity and honor. So it comes back again, right? Love God, love everybody else. Who bored with that already? Y'all ain't even got to lie. I know you're tired of hearing it. But everything comes back to it. The good deeds, the work that we're supposed to be doing, the changes we're supposed to be implementing all come from what? Loving God and loving one another. What is our commitment to? Our commitment is to loving God and loving one another. So what happens when we go, so the hard work I'm willing to do is I'm willing to show up and sit in my seat and smile at you twice in the whole service. That's it. That's all I got. Am I allowed to get upset if somebody tells me that's all they got, that's all they can offer? No. They've offered me something. They've offered to be a part of a community and to give what they feel is all they have to give. So I accept it, and I love them, and we all encourage them and pray and hope that we'll go from 2 smiles to 3 smiles, from 3 smiles to 4 smiles, from 4 smiles to 5 smiles, until finally all they do is smile. Because why? Because once they committed to love God and love all of you, something started happening inside. They started feeling different. They started feeling changed. Because why? Because when you stand in love and you stand face to face with God, what happens? You're changed. Now, if those seats had seatbelts, I would tell you to put them on. Here's the problem. We're really good at coming in here and talking about loving one another. We're really good about coming in here and saying, yes, we're going to be committed to this church, committed to this community. And then, first thing that happens, the little kid will come get this bowl. And the little kid will come to your row and hold the bowl out. And immediately, I don't want to be committed no more. It's mine. Don't touch it. My money. You go get your own money. Second thing that happens, we go to walk out that door, but then somebody says, hey, Michelle, can I talk to you for a minute? I really need somebody to pray with me. And then, I got to go eat. Y'all laughing, but some of y'all rush so fast to get out this door because you want to go get your food. Some of you rush out because you got other places to be, and we all understand that. Then, third thing that happens. Yes, I'm committed. I'm committed to my church. I'm committed to my community. I love God. I love everybody in there. Let somebody in here get on Facebook and say something. Oh, golly. Where'd the commitment go? your commitment to love one another, automatically you like, oh, no. And then, if we're lucky, you pause before you click send. But then what happens? You see them. And you're like, can I talk about what they did on Facebook? Can I say that I didn't feel good about it? Can I say that I think they've lost their minds? Which way does it go? How do you know when you're walking in love and doing the work that you're supposed to be doing? There's a fine line, right? We're walking a spiritual walk, but we live in a very physical world where people agitate. They agitate us. They push our buttons. They push a cart into you when you're on a ladder. I mean, all kinds of crazy things. And when these crazy things start happening, our commitment starts going, well, that preacher, she said a cuss word in church. She did. So I don't think I can go there no more. Because I don't agree with that. Okay, that's fair. Truly. Because, maybe preachers ain't supposed to cuss. I'm Christy. And one of the things the hard work calls us to do is be authentic. You have to be truly you. That's how we were made to be. It's how we're meant to be. If you're not being you, if you're hiding who you are, how brightly can your light shine? Now, no, I don't have to say cuss words to let my light shine. They just sometimes slip out. Because, sometimes stuff happens. I didn't say the cuss word today, I'm just saying. So there's hard work to be done. There's these good deeds that we're supposed to be performing. And maybe that's what that story was about. Not giving up. Not quitting. When things don't go exactly the way we think they should go. When they don't happen as fast as we think they should happen. Maybe that's the message. Maybe it's while you're waiting on Holy to do the things that you expect Holy to do, you're going to keep on doing the things you're supposed to do. Going to keep on keeping on. What's that song we sing? I just can't give up now. I have to keep going. You have to keep going. You have to keep doing the things you're supposed to do. And yeah, it all does come back to that loving one another stuff. Is it hard sometimes? Yes. But it said it would be. It said hard work has to be done. How many of y'all waited tables? That's some hard work, right? But it's about service, correct? Mm-hmm. You're serving. Waiting on Holy is the same thing. You're serving. You're serving one another. You're doing the things you're meant to do. And the more you continue to walk the path that you're meant to walk and to hold on to that commitment, to not give up on your commitment to God, to your community, and not to give up on yourself. The more you move in that direction, the more Holy is present here. What's the prayer say? Let your will be done on earth. Let your will be done here. Let your will be done now. Here. Now. The more you do the things you're supposed to do, the more Holy is present here. Through you, shining out for the whole world to see. And that takes commitment. But, just like the lady with the alabaster jar, just like the 5 wise bridesmaids, your faith will save you. And all the people said, Amen.